But for the acting, for example, when Minister Mason started her first speech in the tail section, 그 뒤에 누가 땡그랑 하고 뭘 떨어뜨려요, 쇠 같은 거를. 그게 계획된 게 아니라 실제로 떨어뜨린 거야, 그 뒤에 배우가. 근데 그걸 보고 즉각적으로 반응을 해가지고 이렇게 뒤 보면서 막 그 모멘트가 되게 웃기거든요. 그런 거를 화면에 담아냈을 때 정말 짜릿하죠. 그러니까 저나 감독으로서 계획하지 않은 건데 배우가 너무나 그걸 멋있게 이제 임프로바이즈 해줄 때 어떤 그런 쾌감이 있죠. 네.
So when Minister Mason in the tail end of the section gives her first speech, at the very beginning of her speech there's this sort of clang where an actor had dropped a bit of steel, but that wasn't actually planned at all. It was really the actor dropping the piece, but with a great actor sort of spontaneously improvising and reacts and kind of looks back, and that moment in the film is actually quite very funny. So as a director, to be able to capture that on screen, it's really quite thrilling. That even though it's not planned, to be able to have an actor who reacts in that way.
It's a really interesting thing. I've tried for years, ever since I've started working with director Bong, to explain why it is that this precision of his, which is really formidable, gives us, all of us, costume designers, producers, this feeling of freedom. And you go onto the set and you have not only a storyboard, which a lot of filmmakers work with storyboards, but you also have an editor. So you can be shown, okay, so we have up until this point. We have up until the point where Bong puts his hand in his pocket. We've got that much. Okay, the next bit we want is the bit from there to the time when he storms out. And we've shot that already, but that bit in the middle is free space. You can fill it. And it gives you this feeling of real license and collaboration, because of course your real aim is to amuse him. That's the point of every day, and he welcomes it and enjoys it. But you're working within these parameters, and it's a thing that I particularly love. I mean, I don't know what I'm called proper actors say about this, but I like working within frames. But this particular frame, this particular precision, and it's a very holding thing, and so it means that you can really stay alive and amused, because you know where it's going to start and you know where it's going to end, and that's because the editor is right there, and you can look back, and then you've finished and you're moving on. You can look, and Director Bong says, "Come over and see what you've just done," and then you can see it. You go, "Oh, I didn't know that my hand went so high. Okay, interesting. So when we do the next bit, I'll make sure that I come in from that high." And it's so productive and so interesting, and yeah, it's a very particular freedom.
I love actors, and each actor has their own. Every actor has their own universe.
And you have some extraordinary actors in this film. And you've got a British, Korean, American. You've got Romanian, Icelandic actors in there. How do you make a big international production like this, which is going to work internationally, but it's also going to be Korean enough for a Korean audience? I wonder if there are particular things in this film, particular references which Korean viewers would get, which we might not in the West.
I don't know. It's just sci-fi film, and also it's a basic setting is already the human survivors that remain in the running train. So 뭐 인류의 생존자들이 있는 건데 그거를 뭐 이렇게 남한 북한 사람들로만 다 해서 하면 되게 이상하겠죠. 이게 자연스러운 것 같아요. 스코틀랜드, 루마니아 뭐 다 있는 이게 되게 자연스럽게 그냥 그렇게 캐스팅을 한 건데.
Well, there are survivors of sort of mankind, so it would be sort of odd to divide them to South and North Koreans, and it was just naturally the case that we had the Scottish and the Romanians, and it would obviously just naturally casting in this way.
제가 좋아했던 그냥 캐스팅이란 게 뭐 별다른 원칙이 있는 게 아니라 제가 좋아했던 영화에 나왔던 배우들을 다 이렇게 초청했죠.
And there wasn't really much sort of rules behind the casting. I just asked all the actors I really liked.
Yeah, for example, the Vlad Ivanov, the Romanian, amazing Romanian actor, he was in the Christian Munzu, yeah.
4 months, 3 weeks.
3 weeks,
432, yeah. And also that Icelandic actor Thomas Lemakis
Yes.
from the Noi Albinoi.
Yeah.
Such a lovely Icelandic film. I enjoy. Yeah, kind of.
We were talking about difficult authority figures earlier, so I have to ask you, you had a run-in with Harvey Weinstein over this film, which was one reason why it was so difficult to see in some places, and I know he wanted to cut 25 minutes. And how did you resolve this? And I believe he objected to the fish scene at the beginning, and there's a story about that.
It's quite many years ago, and yeah, me and my DP really loved the shot with the big fish. Yeah, so it's 냄새가 너무 세가지고 촬영 현장에서는 좀 힘들긴 했었지만은 그 이미지 자체를 좋아했었는데 그 와인스타인님께서 그거를 좀 자르려고 했었죠. 예. 그뿐 아니라 뭐 많은 곳을 잘라내려고 했었지만. 예.
It had such a strong smell. It was actually quite difficult while shooting, but we really just liked the image itself. But Weinstein was quite keen to cut it alongside many other things he wanted to cut.
So I told him, this is my personal something. This dedicated to my father. My father was a fisherman. He does fucking lie. So. I feel sorry, but anyway, my father was actually a graphic designer. And he said, "Al, 왜 빨리 말하지 그랬냐고. 이거 가족이 제일 중요한 거다. 그래서 저거 절대 자르면 안 된다라고 그분께서 얘기를 하셨죠.
So then he replied, "Oh, why didn't you say that before? Family is the most important thing. We must not cut this out."
Yeah, and
But he did.
Yeah.
He did cut 20 minutes out of it, and we discovered later, several years later, that was the Academy screener that went out.
At the time we didn't know. And actually there was a screening of that 25-minute cut, the shortened version of Snowpiercer. There was a screening in Paramus in New Jersey, in a huge multiplex.
It's where they do the testing.
Yeah, with
The testing site for films.
with 200, more than 200 audience scoring the movie, and fortunately score was very low because so many things cut out, quite hard, difficult to understand the whole melody. The score was low, so I was happy. Me and my producer was very happy. But the Mr. Weinstein said, "Oh, quite low score, so let's cut out more." Yeah, but anyway, in the end, it was very all happy ending. So it was 리미티드 릴리즈를 하게 됐지만 어쨌든 감독 디렉터스 컷으로 이제 개봉을 시켰기 때문에